MD Prepper here, sharing my thoughts, feelings, and opinions about the great ammo famine of 2013. Ammo's been hard to get, as all of us shooters out there know. There's been a lot of conspiracy theory stuff out there. Just a bunch of nonsense that I want to cover and give my opinion on with some backing up facts. And I'll post all those facts with the links down below in the comment section. Right here in front of you to open with, I've got the amount of ammunition I've picked up at my local Walmart stores in the last 2 weeks, maybe 2.5. Now, in front of you is 1,283 rounds. I do not fire 1,283 rounds in 2 weeks. Okay, as you can see, the 45 caliber ammo gods, or the ghost of John Browning, has been very gracious to me. I've got 700 rounds of 45 ACP sitting here. I've just lucked out every time I happen to turn the corner if they've got 45 ammo. I've got 250 rounds of 380 ammo because my family and friends are getting more into shooting. They're shooting little concealed pocket pistols. I don't shoot 380 very much, but they do. So I'm stocking that up just because they can't find it either. And I even lucked out and found some 22 long rifle. Even though I don't like this Winchester stuff, I bought it anyway because, well, it's all the 22 you can find. Even though I do have quite the stockpile, I'm not real worried about it. But it was there. It was the last box they had, so I'd be a fool not to buy it, right? Well, wrong. I wouldn't have done that last year, or the year before, or certainly not 5 or 6 years ago, or 10 years ago when I really got into shooting again. Let's get down to the facts here, guys. It doesn't matter how much the government buys. There's more of us. Numbers game, there's more shooters in the United States and more gun owners than pretty much anywhere else in the world. Overall, the United States consumer buys more firearms than anybody else. Okay, hands down. Now, I'm not talking the military here. I'm talking to you and me, an average Joe going to the gun shop and the gun shows. There are 312 million or so U.S. citizens. Since November 2008 until the end of 2012, we bought 67 million firearms. Just consumers, just average Joe, not military purchase. 67 million. Last November, there was a record sale of 2 million firearms, and in December we beat that again by 2.7 million. So in 2 months, 4.7 million firearms were sold to the average American. Absolutely amazing. I'm very happy about that. That is enough to outfit, give a brand new gun to the entire Chinese and Indian armies. Every last one of them. China has about 2.29 million with reservist forces, etc. India has 1.13 million. So with all those sales for November and December, that leaves a surplus of 1.28 million. Almost enough to also give a brand new firearm to every U.S. soldier. We're at about 1.4 million, something like that. So that is a crap ton of firearms, guys. That is just insane number of firearm sales. Ever since Obama got elected, people have been buying firearms. They're just afraid of a ban. The more you hype it up, the more you talk about a ban, the more you make people want it. Let me talk about the facts on the negative side of things. Let's talk about the veteran shooters like myself, guys who shoot all the time. Well, I had my little stockpile of ammunition, but once things got bad with the last election, and especially the Sandy Hook shootings, I knew there was going to be a political backlash and talks of bans and other law changes. I'll tell you what I did the night of the Sandy Hook shooting. I went out online and ordered just tons and tons of ammunition. I think I ordered 10,000 rounds of 22 long rifle. Everybody thought it was crazy, and look who's laughing now. I've got enough 22 to last me, I don't know, most of my life at this stage. I may never have to buy any more. But anyway, I bought a bunch of ammo. I bought AR-15 AK ammo, the intermediate rifle ammo, the popular stuff. I bought a bunch of that beforehand, slowly buying it up. I bought a whole lot after things went down. And guess what? Supplies disappeared. Well, then I started stocking up on handgun ammo. Then, after I finished that, handgun ammo went up. I started stocking up on shotgun ammo after that, and then guess what went away at that point? Shotgun ammo. There's a lot of panic buying by the rest of us gun enthusiasts out there. We're part of this problem, guys. Again, a year ago, I'd seen a box of 45s at Walmart. Oh, that's nice. I wouldn't have even bothered. I wouldn't have walked by. Tula ammo for $14 a box. I said, no, thank you. I don't shoot 380 that much. Who cares? I've got 7 or 8 boxes on the shelf. I'm good to go. No, now I'm buying every box I see, just like every other veteran shooter. Not because we absolutely have to, but because it seems like a prudent idea at the time. So, that's us veteran shooters are part of the problem. We're snatching up everything we get our hands on. And I'm just as guilty as anybody else, as you can see here. This is just my Walmart purchases recently. Next on the list of guilty parties, I'd say are the inactive shooters. The guys who used to be shooters back in the day that are getting back into it due to the hype. Had a buddy of mine come down the other week another doctor, hadn't seen him in years. He was more of a casual shooter than me. I always did shoot a lot more than he did. But he kind of got away for it for a long time, shot from time to time. He's back into it. He's got another AR, another AK, standing in line at Gander Mountain to buy ammo by the 500 round box or 1,000, whatever he can get. This is not the guy I knew in med school. He's buying more ammo because he can. He's training his wife, he's training his stepchildren. Anybody who wants to be trained, he's buying the stuff because he needs it and he's using it. And he's willing to stand in line for it. He's just got a different tack on things than he used to. He's back into it. A lot of guys, a lot of folks I know that used to shoot and didn't shoot a whole lot, members of my family included, are going back and getting their CWPs and all that kind of stuff. Which leads me to the third level of the problem, new shooters. There are tons of new shooters. Mountains of them, armies of them out there getting into shooting, getting their concealed weapons permits. I pulled some stats on concealed weapons permits. In Florida, they're up 17% from last year. In Oklahoma, Tennessee, Wyoming, Nebraska, they're already, midway through this year, have already met their entire totals for all of last year's concealed carry permits, and that's another 6 months to go. So, I guess how that's going to turn out. Texas, Vermont, and Wisconsin had an 18% increase over last year, which is double what it was back in 2007. America's arming up, boys and girls. We're getting more comfortable carrying firearms. We're getting more comfortable talking about them. Obviously, the more you shoot, especially if you're a new shooter, you're going to be more enthusiastic. You're going to shoot more. You're going to want more ammo. So you're going to grab everything you get your hands on? Yeah, of course you will. Buy a gun, you want ammo for it. We're all out there searching. So, anyway, there's my thoughts on the plus side of things as far as why people are stocking up on ammo, where it's all going. I don't buy those government conspiracy nonsense. They're buying up a ton of ammo. The public buys a heck of a lot more. You say the military is buying more. Well, again, look at the numbers. 1.42 million U.S. soldiers, 312 million U.S. soldiers. Big difference there, okay? We're the root of the problem, guys. And I don't think that's a bad thing necessarily. I think there's a lot of good that can come of this great ammo famine, other than the stories you're going to get to tell your grandkids. Let me give you some of what I think are the positives of the Great Famine. First of all, the fact that there are gun grabbers out there trying to grab our guns. That's actually a good thing in the long run, I think, as long as they don't succeed. The more they talk about wanting to ban something, the more the American public wants it. When the assault weapons ban under Clinton came out, the AR-15, I don't want to say it was an obscure firearm, but it went from being, a niche gun community firearm to being now the #1 selling platform of rifle in the United States. The fact that they complained about it mainstreamed it. The fact that they tried to brainwash everybody, got people talking about it, now everybody wants one. They're going to take that away from me? I better get one now. That's a good thing, okay? I cannot tell you the number of folks that I work with, my nurses and staff, etc., that had never fired a firearm before. I remember a year ago, a bunch of my staff talking about how they were scared of firearms, scared to have a gun. Well, honestly, I'd say about 75% of those have either gotten their concealed weapons permit, or planning on getting it, or just started shooting again, or for the first time. The more they talked about it, the more they tried to badmouth our firearms, the more popular they made it. The more taboo it was, the better it was. Again, I'm taking more people to my shooting range down here, or the indoor shooting range here in town, that have never shot before, but want to learn, that want to get their concealed weapons permit. One of those nurses who was a year ago afraid of guns has since taken her concealed weapons permit, as of today was complaining that she still didn't have her concealed weapons permit. When the heck is it going to get here? It's almost been 90 days. I want to carry my gun. Total turnaround. My own family, same thing. Just armies of people getting into the sport, into shooting, into personal self-defense and personal responsibility, which I think is just tremendous. Thank you, gun grabbers, for making us more popular. The more you badmouth us, the more popular we get, especially when the reality comes out. Now, I hate to see all the gun grabbers gain ground. Colorado, New York, with their laws passed, etc. But on the flip side, us red states and gun-friendly states are benefiting. Gun company out of Connecticut's moving to South Carolina. Magpul's moving out of Colorado. Hey, they're moving to friendlier territory. Good for them and good for the rest of us. Sucks for Colorado and Connecticut, but they did it to themselves, so too bad for them. Now, as much as we look at those states who are increasing restrictions, only 5 states have successfully increased gun laws and restrictions on firearms. But at the same time, approximately 20 states, at the time of making this video, 20 states have improved their gun laws, and the fact that they've decreased regulations and constrictions on concealed carry and permitting, having a weapon, defending yourself, etc. That's 4-1 in favor of guns. Let those 5 crazy states be crazy. I'll take the other 20. That's good odds, boys and girls. Again, it sucks to be one of those folks living in the non-free states, I'd say move. Or elect new politicians. We get the politicians we deserve. So, now, I grew up on a farm, grew up with firearms. Firearms are much more mainstream than they ever have been in the past. Just because you had guns, you just didn't go out and talk about it. That was not something you did when you were a kid. Your parents would say, you know, if you're around your buddies and you're out shooting or whatever, it's select few, but you don't talk about guns in mixed company. I do it all the time. Do it every single day at the hospital. It gets brought up. Where you been shooting, Doc? I'll ask my staff who've been shooting, you know, oh, have you taken that new pistol out? You know, oh, did you get that new holster in? How's your ammo holding up? Have you gotten into that reloading yet? Oh, you got your dies in. Very good. Outstanding. I've got friends. I've got my staff. I've got my staff's families coming over and shooting. Everybody in the world. Sometimes they skip out lunch, go down to the gun range to shoot for their lunch break. Outstanding. It's just more mainstream than it's ever been. Gun stores everywhere, popping up around the corner around here in the South. So that's an excellent thing. Now, the more these gun grabbers have complained about guns, the more people's actual knowledge of guns has gone up, in my opinion. At least from those I hang out around. Now, that might not hold true in California and New York, but here in South Carolina, people are asking intelligent questions and getting the real facts, and they're taking the gun safety class. They're figuring out how things work. They're pulling out Grandpa's old shotgun, you know, from under the bed and saying, how does this thing actually work? People are learning more. That's a good thing. The more you know, the better off you are. So, there's my rantings and ravings. I think all this is pretty much due to all of us being more cognizant of the ammo situation. Wanting more ammo, we've stressed the production. Supply and demand. Simple as that, I think. I think the supply will catch up to demand because, well, the demand is there. It's a good thing. I've seen prices coming down a lot recently in the last few weeks. More .223 ammo, 5.56 available online at somewhat reasonable prices. They're not $20 a box. They're now out of 10, which I guess is a good thing. It's moving in the right direction. In closing, I want to say one little thing. It's not really a defense, but it's just more, in my opinion, an interpretation of Cheaper Than Dirt's behavior. Cheaper Than Dirt's gotten a lot of hell recently about jacking their prices up and, quote, price gouging. Well, first of all, I'd say it's not really price gouging. Price gouging is when you're increasing the price on something you absolutely have to have. Food, water, etc., an emergency. If you're charging me $20 for a bottle of water, yeah, that's price gouging in the middle of a drought or somewhere, disaster. Yeah, that's unacceptable. Right now, we can live without ammo. Now, I don't like to say that, but it's true. You know, I don't have to have all this ammo sitting on this table right now, but I bought it because I wanted it, and I'm going to use it at some point. It's not life-saving, okay? I'm not depriving somebody of life, liberty, or property necessarily by raising the prices. And I'm not sure what the economic term, business term is, but what Cheaper Than Dirt seems to have done is they've raised their prices to ensure that they have stock on hand. Other than the very height of the shortage, every time I went on Cheaper Than Dirt, they at least had the ammo, at least some of it. It might be ridiculously expensive. You may be paying $20 for a 20-round box of Russian .223 steel-cased ammo, but at least they had it, okay? You might have been spending $100 on a PMag, but they had it. Everybody else was empty. You might have been paying $80 for a brick of 22, but they had it. So if you were absolutely willing to pay the price, they had it. Is that hurting their sales? I'm sure it is. They're not selling out everything they've got. They're definitely selling less ammo than, say, Walmart here that's clearing the shelves every day. But at least they're ensuring that if you have the money and the desire to buy the ammo, at least it's there for you. Now, that's not for all of us, and I took offense at it initially as well. I'm not going to use for them again. And I got thinking about it. I said, you know, if I had a new handgun or was living in a bad neighborhood and absolutely had to have ammo for a handgun to defend myself in a bad situation, would I pay that price? Yeah, I would, rather than roaming around town to find nothing. Better off ordering that $50 box of 9s. Sounds crazy, but again, you don't have to buy it from Cheaper Than Dirt. They're not holding a gun to your head, no pun intended. So I think they're getting a little bit too much negative press as far as that goes. I don't know, maybe they are being greedy bastards, but it's just a different economic model, I think. I've done a lot of business with them for a lot of years and had very good service, so yeah, I want to think the best of them. So maybe they're just being greedy. I don't think so. I think they're just trying to keep the market open and available for those who do have the cash on hand. The rest of us can scour Walmart. I've obviously done okay recently. Hope you found this interesting. I know got a lot of good feedback on my last couple of opinion videos, so figured I'd do another one. Here's my new lower for an AR. The South Carolina Moultrie flag. The same image that I've got on the back of my lock slides. Couldn't pass it up. Thought it was cool. Indy Prepper out.